So I'm just looking through the Twitter, looking at the QSTQ hashtag with the updates there. Got a tweet from Jody. Score updates, please. Yes, I'm giving them to you as much as I possibly can. But if you're not getting the scores, please let us know. I think we do have the score banner at the bottom of the screen, but if you need more updates, I'll give them to you as much as I can at the end of each jam. Okay, hopefully I'll tweet the halftime scores and come back with you in just a few minutes. We have halftime here at 13 minutes until we come back. Halftime scores are currently Vice City Rollers on 150 points, Richter City All-Stars on 48 points. I'll come back to you in just 13 minutes and we'll be with you shortly. And we are back. Second half here for the Richter City All-Stars versus Canberra Vice City Rollers game here. We are in the finals of day 3 of Quad Save the Queen tournament here in Canberra, Australia, the nation's capital. Coming to you live courtesy of Down Under Derby TV and being streamed on WFTDA TV. Hello to everyone in internet land watching us from one state over or overseas. Bringing us back, halftime score, as I said earlier, Canberra's Vice City Rollers on 150 points, Richter City All-Stars on 48 points. We have Anna Pavlova jamming for Richter City, but straight through, like a hot knife through butter, is Freudian Slit. Lead jammer for Canberra's Vice City Rollers. Anna Pavlova breaking out after turn 3. Freudian Slit getting hit to the outside and drawn back. Scandalas drawing her all the way back, but Freudian Slit wanting to play that conservatively, calling that off. 3 points scored for the end of that jam. Canberra's Vice City Rollers on 153, Richter City on 48. Bambi Von Smasher jamming for Canberra's Vice City Rollers against Beatrix Kiddo for Richter City. Bambi Von Smasher, lead jammer. Beatrix Kiddo having to make it past Bubble Kill for Vice City. Vice City Rollers are in the black and green and in the purple and orange. Richter City, Bambi Von Smasher getting hit to the outside by Nee Dodgem, calling off the jam there. 2 points for Vice City, none for Richter City. Vice City Rollers now on 155, Richter City on 48 points. If you have any feedback on the feed or scores, updates or anything else, you can use the Twitter hashtag QSTQ. Tweet to me directly at Lee Mackay, at LIMA_KAI. And I'd love to hear your feedback or for shout outs or anything. I do love a good shout out. I've got some people watching from Richter City and they are just loving this feed. Vice City Rollers will be playing Richter City in a sanctioned bout later on today, so hopefully we'll have updates from that as well. Jam was called 0-0 in that. So just confirming with my in-house commentator, Princess Slayer was lead in that jam, but Knuckles for Vice City was too close behind to be able to call that. There's the difficulty of calling a game by yourself, got one set of eyes. I do get distracted by shiny things. I'll try and keep on the ball for the rest of this game. Meanwhile, Chaos jamming for Vice City, lead jammer. That looks like Beatrix Kiddo jamming. Nope, correction, that is Anna Pavlova jamming for Richter City. Chaos getting through, calling it off. 4 points for Vice City, none for Richter City. So I was commenting yesterday about colourful outfits from Richter City. Good to see some midriffs in roller derby. If you've been working on those abs, you wanna show them off. And regardless of what you wear, it's all about how you play. And I've really been impressed with the level of play coming from Richter City. They play a little bit differently than we do from here in Australia, but they have been getting the results consistently here at the Quad Save the Queen tournament in Canberra. Meanwhile, Bambi Von Smasher is lead. Oh my goodness, Bambi Von Smasher, lead jammer, trying to suck Beatrix Kiddo back into the pack, but ends up drawing a cut on Beatrix Kiddo. So Bambi Von Smasher is in a power jam. All she wanted was a natural Grand Slam, but now she is on a power jam for Vice City Rollers. 5 points on the board there for Vice City as Richter City is trying to defend. We've got 2 pivots, both of them called Buffalo Kill. One for Richter City in the purple and orange, one for Vice City in the black and green. Beatrix Kiddo back on the track. Bambi Von Smasher trying to re-engage to get some more points. Ended up getting the 3 points, calling it off as Beatrix Kiddo back on the track. No points for Richter City in that jam. Princess Leia on the track for jamming for Richter City. And for Vice City, we've got Knuckles, our Canadian cohort. Rainbow Spite turning around, trying to give an assist, but deciding to block Princess Leia instead. Princess Leia just really drawing out those blockers. And it was a cut track penalty on Knuckles. A great opportunity for Richter City to try and get some points on the board, close this gap up that's been happening. Richter City on 48 points, Vice City Rollers on 167. Princess Leia, almost on her way out of the pack there to score some points, getting a back block penalty. I was saying in the first half, the penalties for jammers have been different to what we've seen in earlier generations of Derby. Now that we've seen more aggressive jamming, we are seeing more jammer penalties such as forearms, back blocks, elbows, and the like, as opposed to cut track penalties. 5 points there for Beatrice Kiddo from her earlier pass. 4 points for Knuckles and Vice City. There is no lead jammer, so this will be a 2-minute jam. Both teams wanting to score points and not give any away. Damage drawing out Princess Leia, not able to run her back, now deciding to go into a 3-wall brace as Rainbow Spite tries to set up some points for Knuckles. Knuckles getting the forearms penalty, not happy with that, just as she was skipping through the inside line. I think she may have pushed one of the Richter City blockers on her way up the inside line there. Princess Leia trying to look for a hold, being conservative about her skating, getting pushed to the inside there by Damage. And Damage looking confused from Vice City. Thought she drew the cut on Princess Leia, but it was deemed a no pass, no penalty. 5 points there for Richter City, which is interesting. I thought no pass, no penalty also meant no point, but I'll have to clarify that with the rules. Apparently my rules are not as good as I thought. At the end of that jam, Richter City on 58 points, Vice City on 173. We have Anna Paviova jamming on this power jam start for Richter City, having to make it past Buffalo Kill and Behemoth Rhapsody, with Anthrax at the helm, having to re-engage Behemoth Rhapsody, getting that out of play block and accepting that. I think she knew that she was pushing that engagement zone. Anna Paviova, lead jammer, 4 points. Gets the 4 points, calls it off. No points to Vice City in that jam as Knuckles comes back onto the track out of the penalty box. Richter City now on 62 points, Vice City on 173. Freudian Slit jamming for Vice City against Beatrix Kiddo. I did tweet about Freudian Slit under her nickname Freud on Twitter, and now I have Sigmund Freud following me on Twitter. So how about that? I don't know how to what to think about that, but I'll try not to internalize it too much. Freudian Slit coming through on the inside line, getting around 108. Perhaps that was 102, Knee Dodgem calling off the jam. 3 points there to Vice City and 62 for Richter City at this point. We are 10 minutes into the second half. These are finals, so they're full games. We had 20-minute halves for the lightning rounds yesterday on day 2 at Quad Save the Queen tournament here in Canberra. 1 blocker in the bin from each team. And Princess Slayer jamming for Richter City, having to make it past Bubble O'Kill. And Chaos jamming for Vice City. Princess Slayer getting the track cut penalty. So Vice City is now on a power jam. This has been a long weekend from the girls from New Zealand, and perhaps they are suffering from some fatigue. The penalties are just racking up for these jammers. Princess Slayer on 4 penalties so far. Beatrix Kiddo on 4 also. Penalties for the Vice City Rollers are pretty clean at this point, and I think that's what will make or break this second half, is playing as cleanly as possible, not taking any risks. Bubble O'Kill from Richter City getting a multiplayer block there as pivot, so Princess Slayer is on her own. She is out of the bin and completed her initial pass. 5 points there from Vice City. Oh, a big fall there from Chaos. She's had ankle problems in the past and is just monitoring a bit of a niggly injury. I think she mainly got a shock coming through the inside line and getting knocked, doing a bit of a spin and having to Sorry, I was getting distracted. The camera's panned to the penalty board to give a bit of discreetness, as it were, to the blocker number 56, Chaos, for Vice City, as the medics are checking her injury. But yeah, day 3 on this tournament, having to watch how everyone is going, energy levels and the way that skaters are playing. Don't want to take any risks at this point. To get an injury in the finals would be devastating. But it's been really great to see Chaos kind of come up and up through Canberra Roller Derby League as a transfer skater from Stockholm Roller Derby. She's a native Finn from Finland and skated on Team Finland at the Roller Derby World Cup in Dallas late last year. So while we're having a little break, I'd like to give a shout out to our sponsors for the stream, Better Bearings. Thank you for contributing to making the stream brought to you by Down Under Derby TV possible, also being screened on WFTDA TV. Thank you to Tavish Designs, that's tavish.com, Tavishe, for all your graphic design needs. And a special thank you to Spank Alley for making the Derby community just that much more blingy and contributing to things like the stream, which if you're watching from Richter City, hello. And I'm sure everyone watching from Richter City, from Hobart, from Western Australia, had some tweets from Perth yesterday in Western Australia. They definitely appreciate everything that has been done with Down Under Derby TV and everyone who contributed to that. Just an update, Chaos has taken off her skates, but she's able to walk away from that pretty big hit on the inside line. She won't be playing for the rest of this game, but she is able to get up and walk, so she'll be back on skates in no time, no doubt. We've got lots of medics from Sports Tech Clinic, as well as St John's Medical and Sports Medicine Australia. We've got some volunteers for first aid, and it's just really great to have them here at this tournament. Haven't had too many injuries during the tournament, so it's really good to see, when they're having a break, they just get to watch great derby. Back to it, we've got Beatrice Kiddo jamming for Richter City. She is lead jammer. Freudian slip not too far behind, wanting to close that gap. Meanwhile, Beatrix coming through, getting around Anthrax and Rainbow Spite. Not quite able to get past the hips of Knuckles, calling it off from the ground. 2 points there for Richter City. None for Vice City on that jam. Vice City now on 188 points. Richter City on 64 points. Bambi Von Smasher on the line for Vice City against Beatrix Kiddo. I do apologise. That may have been Anna Paviover for the last jam. There's a lot of skaters that have similar skating styles that finding it hard to tell them apart. But I'll try and do better in the future. Bambi Von Smasher getting through, calling off the jam. 4 points there for Vice City, bringing them up to 192 again against Richter City's 64 points. Bubble Kill for Vice City in the green and black, jamming for the host team, Canberra's Vice City Rollers, against Princess Slayer for Richter City. Bubble Kill for Richter City, pivot, doing a great inside line assist to get Princess Slayer through. I thought she would go straight to defense. She has got Bubble's numbers. We've got some bubble on bubble action here. Bubble Kill as pivot for Richter City, holding a 3-wall brace against Bubble Kill for Vice. They have her number. Meanwhile, Princess Slayer coming through on the inside on a scoring pass, getting hit out by Anthrax and Stone Jet. Neither of them can run back because they both went down and out of bounds, but recycling at the front of the pack here in a one-on-one brace. Anthrax trying to use the hips to get Princess Slayer out of bounds, and she does. She runs her back. Oh, Princess Slayer. Yes, unfortunately, Princess Slayer getting the track cut penalty. She stepped back onto the track. You need to know that when Anthrax is steering you to the outside, you either have to juke out of it, but step out of bounds. She will take you all the way to the outside. A track cut penalty for Princess Slayer. That is her 5th penalty as jammer. Bubble on bubble action here. Again, the in-house commentators are loving it, as are the crowd. It's not usual that you see 2 skaters from different teams with the same name. Bubble Kill hitting to the outside, but Bubble Kill for the Vice City Rollers, spinning out of it. 5 points for the Vice City Rollers. The cheer of Go Bubbles from the crowd. Well, that could be for either one, really. Richter's Bubble Kill. Really controlling that pack to try and get it through. Panty has been passed from Bubble Kill for Vice City to Is a Belligerent. Pivot for Vice City in the black and green, which means that we can get more bubble on bubble action in the pack. Wow, jam has been called by Princess Slayer. No points for that pass. That may have been her first scoring pass from coming out of the bin. But scores are currently Richter City still on 64 points. Vice City on 200 points. Bench manager for Richter City calling an official review. It may be contesting that those last 4 points should have been awarded to Princess Slayer in that last jam. Richter City actually called an official review on Perth Roller Derby last night about a jammer penalty on Perth Roller Derby, and they got that official review. They won that official review. So Perth's jammer had been knocked to the inside, called off the jam, but stepped back onto the track before she called off the jam, and they were contesting that should have been a jammer penalty, and the penalty was indeed issued to Perth Roller Derby. So alternate for Richter City, feeling confident that if you ask the right questions, you may get the result that you were looking for. We've got Alakazam on the in the penalty box, and a full pack of Vice City rollers. Trying to see what the in-house commentators are talking about. They're just kind of blabbing. The sound isn't as good as they would like in-house, and so all the shout-outs they're doing for the people on the track. When you do a shout-out to someone on the track and they don't hear it. Oh, I just got a tweet from Aya Macabre at Aya_Macabre. At Lee Mackay, your rules, RE, no pass, no penalty, no point, are correct, but Jammer can repass Skater for that point or might have already passed them 5 points are possible. So I was correct, but the clarification of my understanding of that point has been confirmed that you don't get that point unless you reattempt to pass that skater legally. So there is opportunity to get that 5 points if you do so legally, but if you don't attempt to repass that skater, then you won't get that point. So that must have been what occurred. Thank you for tweeting at me, A. Macabre. That is really great clarification of those rules, and that's why I love Twitter. If you have anything that you want to say about the feed, or if you want to clarify something with me, you can use the hashtag QSTQ or tweet me at Lee Mackay, at LIMA_KAI. Back to the jam. We've got Freudian Slit jamming for Canberra's Vice City Rollers. She is lead jammer, already coming through to score as Anna Paviova has come through. Looked like she was going to call, but there was a penalty on Freudian Slit, which means that there is a opportunity to score for Richter City. A great outside line pass there from Anna Paviova. Behemoth Rhapsody thought she had blocked her to the inside, but she managed to get on her tiptoes, got through on the tiptoes, and was able to get the points. Apologies, I'm trying to catch up with what's happening. Beatrix Kiddo getting knocked to the inside and calling off the jam. Called off the jam, but it looks like she got a jammer penalty and a legal call-off as she was not lead. So we have both jammers in the bin. Freudian Slit is standing, so she will be getting through first. Canberra's Vice City taking the front line, which is interesting, leaving Richter City at the back. Bubble kill for Richter City, blocking on the inside, now resetting to the outside. The resetting for Richter City in this jam has really been successful. It's really hard to block these jammers at a standstill, so they're keeping the pack moving in a wheel formation. Anthrax coming through from the front to assist. Anna Paviova comes out of the penalty bin and able to get through. Oh, she gets knocked. Risky jamming there from Anna Paviova. She almost was able to get through to get lead jammer, but she steps back onto the track after being hit out by Anthrax. She gets another track cut. Sorry, she gets another jammer penalty, as that last penalty was not a track cut. So Freudian Slit jamming unopposed. She is not lead jammer, but she does get 5 points for Vice City, taking that score up to 205 to Richter's 69 points. Bubble kill for Richter City pivot in the penalty box as Anna Paviova stands in the penalty box. Anna Paviova is on 4 penalties and is going to have to watch her penalties, but also just see if she can pull out some smart skating, playing conservatively, trying to get those points on the board, but staying out of the penalty box in this second half. This able to resist being hit out on one skate is a dangerous move because it's harder to reset. But another penalty there for Anna Paviova, getting a back block penalty after coming out of the bin for a cut track penalty. Five points there for Vice City as the jam ends. Freudian Slit was not lead jammer, but she was unopposed, getting those 5 point passes, that jammer lap point. It's amazing how hard that word is to say once you've said it 1,000 times over a weekend. Jammer lap point. Vice City are on 215 points to Richter City's 69 points. And a paper over in the penalty box as Bambi Von Smasher comes through for Vice City, getting blocked there by Ella Kazam and Bubble O'Kill, blocking her to the outside but not out of bounds. Bambi Von Smasher, lead jammer for Vice City. Ella Kazam blocking to the outside, but Bambi Von Smasher using those toe stops to stay in bounds, getting that 5-point pass. Anna Pavlova back on the track. Let's see if she can complete this initial pass. 2 Bubble O'Kills, 1 from each team, both wearing pivot stripes. Bubble O'Kill hitting Bambi Von Smasher to the outside. Oh, great. Hop jump and a spin out of that pack. Bambi Von Smasher getting those 5 points as Anna Pavlova goes for another jammer penalty. It looks like she is in a bit of a penalty spiral, getting her 6th major penalty. I don't know why I said that. That's the old school derby and me talking major and minor penalties. That's telling you how long I've been skating for. Jam was called as Anna Pavlova in the penalty box. Bambi Von Smasher calling that jam. 3 points in that last pass. Canberra Vice City Rollers on 228 points to Richter City's 69 points. We have less than 10 minutes to go in this half. This is the first time that Canberra have played Richter City, but they will get to play them later in the day, I believe, in a WFTDA sanctioned bout. There are a few sanctioned teams here at the Quad Save the Queen tournament, which means that this is an opportunity for full members such as Canberra Roller Derby League and Richter City to be able to play for rankings. So this is one of, even though Canberra's Vice City Rollers are in the lead, this is one of their lower point differential games so far in the tournament. They have had some pretty high point differentials, although to my knowledge, not the highest point differential in the tournament. Based on the pools, I think Sydney City Assassins had the highest point differential with us, plus 600 points. But we'll see what the result is at the end of this game, and then they'll be able to do it all again this afternoon in a full WFTDA sanctioned bout. Very excited to bring that coverage to you later on in the day. Brought to you by Down Under Derby TV and screened on WFTDA TV. Jamming unopposed for Canberra's Vice City Rollers. It's Freudian Slit. Anthrax busting through the inside for an assist. Great work there, using her blockers as a battering ram. Freudian Slit through lead jammer for Canberra's Vice City Rollers. Anna Pavlova back on the track for Richter City as Freudian Slit looking to score, getting around the hips of that skater on the outside. 1080 from Richter City. That is Suffragette. Behemoth Rhapsody getting a back block penalty there. And in the penalty box, Freudian Slit also getting a penalty, which means that, it's Bubble O'Kill jamming. It must have been a star pass to Bubble O'Kill for Richter City. The home team are having a great time watching a different Bubble O'Kill than they used to in this stadium. Number 298 for Richter City. Damage doing exactly that, doing damage to Bubble O'Kill for Richter City. Being held up there by Behemoth Rhapsody and Anthrax in a brace with Damage. really slowing down Bubbles. Bubbles is wanting to get some help here from her players. Share trouble number 26, giving an assist there, and another back block there for Freudian slit. I'll have to check what that other penalty was for Freudian slit. It was a back block penalty for Freud in that jam. So 2 back blocks. So she's going to have to change her skating style a little bit so she can stay on the track and stop the bleeding of the points from Richter City. Richter City are now on 73 points to Vice City's 236 points. 7 minutes left to go in this game. Beatrix Kiddo jamming for Richter City, lead jammer. Full pack on the track from both teams. Great clearing from Richter City. I've seen less offense from Richter City in this game. Beatrix Kiddo coming around on the outside. Had to attend to a bit of a medical emergency on the edge of the track. Medics are seeing to that, so that is underway. Beatrix Kiddo coming through for some points. Freudian slit back on the track. I think she needs to make her initial pass. Getting knocked to the inside and recycling to the back. 4 points there for Richter City. Freudian slit still on the outside trying to get through. That was her initial pass. And Beatrix Kiddo getting through. Getting the 4 points, she's lead jammer, so she calls off the jam. A great jam there from Richter City, getting that score up to 91 points to Vice City on 236 points. And Knuckles, number 604, fouling out of the game with just over 5 minutes to go left in the game. She's got her 7 penalties. The Vice City Rollers penalty board is looking pretty clean. It's been more penalties on the side of Richter City, but first to foul out was Knuckles, number 604 for Vice City. That being said, I've seen this consistently with Richter City, that their penalties haven't always affected the score. Even when they've been in the lead, they've still managed to have plenty of penalties on that board. In this case, the penalties have been jammer penalties, which means that they are behind in the scores. Currently, Richter City on 95 points, Vice City on 236 points. Anna Paviova jamming for Richter City. And for Vice City, Freudian slit. Interesting move having Anna Paviova jamming at this stage. She's on 6 penalties. So hopefully she can stay on the track. But that being said, she got through lead jammer as the defense on Freudian slit is great. Freud is getting tired, and Scandalas coming through. Knocked her to the outside but wasn't able to run her back as she took a knee. So having to release Freudian slit there on her initial pass. Meanwhile, Anna Paviova coming through on a scoring pass, trying to get the hips in front of overbearing, calling off the jam. 4 points there for Richter City. So Richter really wanting to push through to this 100-point barrier, as Vice City are on 236, Richter City on 99 points. Jamming for Richter City, desperately wanting to get through for lead jammer status, is Beatrix Kiddo coming around the outside, and Richter City are keeping Bambi Von Smasher on the outside, but she manages to get through on one toe. Beatrix Kiddo lead jammer for Richter City. Bambi Von Smasher not too far behind. Bench managers looking for the perfect time to get through to call. Richter City blockers at the back and not wanting to risk anything. Beatrix Kiddo calls off the jam. No points for either, so scores are still Vice City on 236, Richter City on 99 points. Princess Leia jamming for Richter City against Freudian Slip, standing very close to each other, almost like having a little moment together, that zen moment the jammers have before they really bust out of the pack. Big block from Volcanic Ash onto is a belligerent for Vice City. Bubble O'Kill drawing back. Freudian Slit forces the call. Freudian Slit calling that jam just as Princess Leia was approaching the pack. Really smart play there from Bubble O'Kill from Richter City, but also from Freudian Slit, wanting to keep that point differential. So scores are still Vice City 236 points to Richter City on 99 points. Bambi Von Smasher. Oh, I thought that was Bambi Von Smasher, but it's Bubble O'Kill jamming for Vice City in the black and green. And Anna Pavueva from Richter City. And great assist there from 1080. That is Suffragette. Helping out Anna Pavueva from getting caught behind Madamage and Rainbow Spite. Madamage getting a penalty there. I have to confirm what that was for. Bubble O'Kill getting stuck into the middle of that pack, calling off the jam. 2 points there to Vice City, but 3 points were scored by Anna Pavuova. Sneaky pass there behind Bubble O'Kill, calling off the jam. So based on that jam alone, Richter City won. Richter City won that jam. 3 points to 2. Scores are now Richter City 102 points, Vice City on 238 points. This looks like to be the last jam of the game. Bambi Von Smasher jamming against Beatrix Kiddo. Bambi Von Smasher spinning out of that pack. Lead jammer, Beatrix Kiddo still stuck behind Behemoth Rhapsody and is a belligerent. Bit of a pile up on the outside there as Volcanic Ash takes out Stone Jet, but Stone Jet gets the low block. Bambi getting through, calling off the jam. No time left on the period clock, so that was the final jam. Just as we tally up the final scores there, and an official review was called. Thank you to the sponsors of the stream, Better Bearings, Tavish Designs, tavishe.com for all your graphic design needs, and to Spank Alley for making the live coverage possible. Brought to you, produced and brought to you by Derby Down Under TV and being streamed on WFTDA TV. This has been a great tournament and a great opportunity to not only show the world what Canberra can bring to its home, putting on a 3-day tournament and a collection of sanctioned bouts, but also showcasing some of the Derby Australia has from Australia and New Zealand, being Richter City. 2 leagues coming over from Western Australia, which, to give you an idea, is a longer flight than it is from New Zealand, to tell you how large Australia is as a country. Really great opportunity for Western Australia Roller Derby, Wards of the Skate, and Perth's West Coast Evils to showcase some of their derby talent. Perth having a stellar tournament, as did Ward. I don't know if you caught the game between Wards of the Skate and Vice City Betamax, the Vice City B team. It was an overtime jam won by 2 points by Ward. One of the best games I've ever seen and called on the stream in my life. So I'm looking forward to going through the archives and having a look at that. The track 2 is showcasing Sydney Assassins versus Convict City. We'll have to see what the results of that are. And I'm not sure if there will be an overall final, but we will see. I'm just going to stick my head over towards the in-house commentators and see if they know what the nature of the official review called by Richter City is in this last point. Richter City doing a bit of a cheer at the end there. They may not have taken out the win, but they have had an amazingly fun weekend here in the nation's capital, Canberra. Canberra, Australia, bringing you Quad Save the Queen tournament here. It looks like, I can't get the nature of the official review, but that is the final score. Canberra's Vice City Rollers, 242 points to Richter City's 102 points. Canberra's Vice City Rollers are currently ranked third in Australia based on the biannual tournament. Great Southern Slam held in Adelaide. And this will definitely, not this game, but the sanctioned game they're having against Richter City later today will affect their WFTDA rankings. So it's really great to have international visitors here in my hometown of Canberra, Australia, the nation's capital of Australia, as well as be able to host games that have that international WFTDA ranking, which is really great. So that is the game, ladies and gentlemen. Canberra's Vice City Rollers taking out the win, 242 points to 102 points to Richter City. We'll have to come back to confirm who's playing next on track 1. We are at day 3 of Quad Save the Queen tournament here in Canberra, Australia. Brought to you by Canberra Roller Derby League, produced by Derby Down Under TV and streamed on WFTDA TV. So hello to all of our international watchers. Thank you to everyone who tweeted at me at Lee Mackay, LAMA_KAI, and use the hashtag QSTQ to be able to talk to us. It's been really great to be able to converse with everyone on Twitter about the stream and just about the game in general. Brushed up on my rules knowledge, so that was really great. I'm going to sign off and congratulate my home team, the Canberra's Vice City Rollers. We'll come back to you with more action from track 1 here at day 3, finals day here at Quad Save the Queen. We'll talk to you soon. Signing off, I'm Peachy Keen, representing Canberra Roller Derby League. We'll see you very soon. These teams have been so far undefeated in the tournament so far. Is that right?
That is correct. These teams top seeds in their pools, undefeated through the lightning rounds, and now going up head-to-head for the first time in the grand final. Underway already with Sasson's lead jammer for Power Pout.
Bambi Von Smasher jamming for Vice City Rollers, not getting through for lead jammer advantage. Power Pout calling off the jam from the knees. 2 points in there. First points on the board for this final game of the tournament, Quad Save the Queen, here in sunny Canberra, capital of Australia. Brought to you by Canberra Roller Derby League. We are coming to you live from, produced by Down Under Derby TV and being streamed on WFTDA TV. Just introduce myself. My name is Peachy Keen. I'm from Canberra Roller Derby League.
And I'm Colonel Panic from various other leagues.
Based in Sydney.
Based in Sydney.
So you know these girls very well.
I know these skaters from Sydney. I've coached several of them.
I thought that was Juicy Vengeance, but it was 1957 Peggy Spew from Sydney Assassins hitting out Chaos on the outside line. I'm wondering if we've got time to run through the team lists for Sydney Roller Derby League. We've got Shoe Hacker, number 05, number 11, Power Pout, 120, Pure NRG, Rotten Roller, 138, Peggy Spew, 1957, Moody Bitch, 216, Stacey DC, 2507, and I'll come back to that later. For now, we've got lead jammer status going to Knuckles, Vice City Roller, Jammer, and Moody Bitch, number 216 for the Assassins, just breaking out past Rainbow Spite there on her initial pass.
A strong lead jammer by Knuckles. She's got nearly a lap on Moody. She goes through, gets her 4 points, and she calls it off. 4-0. I think we're going to see a lot of these short jams, just points and call with points denial.
That's right.
Just like the last semi-finals, points do not matter in this, just the win. This is for the trophy.
That's right. It's for the trophies. This is not a sanctioned bout, so it does not affect their rankings, but they definitely want this win. Canberra want this win after taking their first loss against Sydney Assassins in 4 years, currently earlier on in the year. So they want to take this win in front of the home crowd. Freudian Slit jamming for Canberra's Vice City. Power Pout ducking underneath the blockers to kind of break through first, just having to get past Anthrax, getting hit to the outside.
Pack really strung out there. Pow Pow picking up the lead jammer and drawing the out of play penalty at the front to jam number 6.
Absolutely. They were going to need all 4 of those skaters to keep back Chaos, number 56 for the Vice City Rollers. Pure Energy jamming for Sydney Assassins.
Sorry, you may be getting a frozen scoreboard overlay there on the live stream. We're just getting that updated here.
For those playing at home, Sydney Assassins are currently on 15 points in the lead against Canberra's Vice City Rollers on 6 points. Just over 5 minutes into this first half. Pure Energy lead jammer for the Assassins. A penalty at the end of that last jam. It looks like that was a counter block. Can't see from the scribble on the penalty board. So Sydney once again have pack advantage to be able to keep back Knuckles and Rotten Roller getting through for that lead jammer status. I think penalties are definitely going to be a factor here in this game to be able to defend and get that lead jammer advantage.
Yeah, really strong that box defense by the Assassins off the start there. Really tough for Knuckles, and it forced a track cut on her. The no pack releasing the Assassin jammer. The pack at the back's really at a disadvantage when the no pack happens.
4 points
5
going
points
to
by Rotten Roller there.
You've got better eyes than I do. Sometimes I can't see the thumb if that's been tucked in or not for the 5 points or the 4 points. Number 3411. That is Tricks and Stones coming through for the assist for Rotten Roller.
And a track cut called by Rotten Roller. We're going to go 2 minutes here.
Yes, that looks like a Bubble Kill pivot for the Vice City Rollers. Jumped back and was not... Rotten Roller did not go engage behind her. Blocky Balboa getting a penalty there. Looks like a track cut. She was forced on the inside, did not re-enter legally.
It was a brutal hit by Blocky on Knuckles. It's going to take a bit out of her tank as she tries to manage the energy of this jam going to go to the full 2 minutes.
That's right. The finals were played just this morning. And both of these teams coming straight off a game that got them into this final. So time for a rest and a bit of a drink and then straight back into it. So they're going to have to maintain their energy levels, as you said. Try and play a clean game coming in here for the win.
Certainly going to be tough. This is game number 7, I believe, for the weekend for both these teams. I saw on the semi-final, Assassins definitely using some clock management techniques to save them for this game. Their jammers have been able to get through the packs a lot of times without touching a single opposing blocker. It's certainly been impressive to see.
That's right. We've got Power Pout number 11 jamming 4. Sydney straight around the outside, lead jammer.
She certainly needed no assist there. Used her toe stops to squeeze down about 3 inches of space.
Also, only 3 blockers to get past as Madge in the penalty box from that last jam. So 1 less blocker to have to deal with from Power Pout. Getting that 5-point pass, lapping Chaos in the pack. Sorry.
And once again, as we've seen Power Pout do all tournament long, 5 points without touching an opposing blocker. Bambi Von Smasher now wearing the pivot stripe in the box.
Really showing that that offense by plucking 1 or 2 of the blockers at the back off to get those points, and that's exactly what they did with taking out Is a Belligerent, getting Izzy's point and Madge's point in the bin. Pure Energy.
Now jamming up against Energy. Knuckles has been successful so far, and she's out on her scoring pass. But Energy with about a half a lap lead.
So we were speculating yesterday, Pure Energy is what you get when you cross a Knuckles with the Bambi Von Smasher. She's got that speed, but she also has that brute strength. It is amazingly... I love watching Pure Energy skate because of her defensive jamming.
She is a lot of fun both on and off the track. Like her name says, this lady is full of energy. I have no idea where it comes from. I think in the whole time I've known her, I've seen her slow down once.
Yeah, I played against her at her home team, Team Lumberjack, last week, and she said she was feeling a bit tired, but I did not get that 1 iota. I think it was all part of her psych-out method. And Bambi Von Smasher trying to keep back Rotten Roller. Anthrax taking out Rotten Roller, then being met with Very Bad, who's had to go to the penalty box out of play, block there.
Yeah, the Assassins packs, even though there's 2 of them now in the box, certainly seem to be in control of pack speed. Rotten Roller now coming up with some speed, and a nice banana block by Bambi Von Smasher forces the call off.
There has been some sweeps to the outside, but not enough to force out of bounds. But a team effort from Bambi Von Smasher and Anthrax forcing out Rotten Roller, forcing the call before Vice City Jammer could get through. Updating on the scores, Vice City Rollers on 14 points. Sydney Assassins still leading on 53 points. Packs are even with 3 blockers apiece. 1 blocker in the bin each. Moody Bitch running through the inside to get through. Lead jammer for the Assassins. Chaos for Vice City not too far behind.
All right, so getting some messages in from home. The scoreboard overlay is not running at the moment, so we'll try and get you score updates a bit more often over the commentary.
Moody Bitch trying to come through.
Jam 13, but Knuckles is on the way to the box. Track cut straight off the line, leaving Power Power to score unopposed, or at least attempt to. Not through the pack yet.
That's right. Knuckles trying to take the position of the 4th blocker on the track there to try and defend, and it worked to a degree. Power Power got run back, but also Knuckles cut track on re-entering illegally, getting that track cut penalty, so did not work in their favour.
Powerpout certainly showing all weekend. She's got the endurance to run some long jams. Scoring unopposed is exactly what she wants and exactly not what the Vice City Rollers want. Now Knuckles is back on the track. She's still got her initial pass to do. Powerpout just calling it there.
That's right, getting forced to the inside from Anthrax and Behemoth Rhapsody, calling it off with 1 point.
That brings the jam total to 6 for the Assassins. Vice City Rollers with a no pass. That keeps their score on 7.
That's right, Sydney Assassins still in the lead, 61 points to Vice City Rollers on 17 points.
Juicy Vengeance in the box, wearing the pivot stripe for the Assassins. That's going to give one less for Freud to push through. And we have a multiplayer block called on Feral Street. That's another one that Freud doesn't have to compete with, but Pure Energy. Go Extreme Jess. She gets the lead jammer anyway.
Yep, Pure Energy trying to keep Freud at bay, decides to call it off. That's exactly what Freud wanted. She could either get in front, force a call, or try and take her out. Which
on Smasher, and you can hear the crowd going crazy here. 5 points on the board already.
That was a pretty epic moment there for Anthrax. Really able to force that cut right at the edge of the engagement zone. Bambi Von Smasher coming through on the outside line. 5 points. Not an obvious place that you would go to as a jammer on the outside, but she's got that footwork and that strength to be able to do it. Around the outside again, 5 point pass for the Vice City Rollers.
Bambi Von Smasher has been one of my favourite skaters to watch for many years now, and showing why today. 3 laps in a row around the outside for 5 points. Still going all around the outside using her agility and strength. Getting low, 5 more points.
That's right. Juicy Vengeance trying to take it to the outside, but gave her just enough room for a toe stop, and that's too much space with Bambi Von Smasher bussing her way through. 3-wall for Sydney, trying to get back Bambi Von Smasher, and they do. Juicy Vengeance tries to run her back, gets caught by Behemoth Rhapsody. Behemoth getting a counterclockwise block, I think.
Spite and Madge teaming up again to own Rotten Roller in the pack.
Anthrax trying to give the referees a lesson in what they do, but giving herself a forearms penalty in the process while trying to draw the cut, getting a forearms penalty on Rotten Roller. After a huge jam there, the offense from Vice City was so desperate it caused a few penalties. Behemoth Rhapsody, Anthrax, and Overbearing in the bin.
You'd have to say those penalties are worth it, as Bambi Von Smasher all sitting and standing in the box. This is always a challenging moment for the one blocker remaining. You don't want to overcommit and go yourself. Penalty spirals typically take a few jams to get out because the skaters remaining on the track have to do more than 100%.
And if I was Sydney at this point, and I can say this on the stream, which is very nice to be able to speculate, and I was Moody Bitch and I got lead jammer, I would get that lead, call it immediately, and leave those blockers in the box.
Well, right now, Canberra with 14 penalties on the board, the Assassins with 12. That certainly is a telling factor. 2 evenly matched teams. Statistically, the team with the least penalties has the most points.
Oh, Moody Bitch getting through for lead jammer, and Chaos not too far behind. She almost made it, but took a bit of a tumble, having to re-engage at the back there, being run back there by Stacey DC, it looks like. Moody Bitch getting the 5 points for Sydney, wanting to extend this lead. Pack advantage still going strong. Overbearing and Behemoth Rhapsody and Anthrax back in the bin. Knuckles was the only blocker on the track. She must have gotten a penalty for being out of play.
Yeah, it's certainly tough to try and stay clean when you're the only blocker on the track. Now got the advantage going the other way with 2 Assassins blockers in the box. We're going to start the next jam with a strong advantage to Vice City Rollers, though 10 points added for the Assassins in that last jam is not what they need.
And now pack advantage goes to Vice City Rollers. Full pack, 4 blockers on the track for Vice City, 2 on the track for Sydney Assassins. Giving a score update, Sydney Assassins on 71 points, Vice City Rollers on 40 points. I've been getting some tweets about the overlay, but I'll keep updating the scores. You should be able to see it.
Yeah, it looks
overlay
like
is back, says Monkey.
We have everything is showing good now on the streaming computer, so you should see the scores. You should have a quality stream now. We had power through for lead jammer, and she's now cleared her box. Freud in hot pursuit, about half a lap behind, and the pack definitely speeding up. Assassins getting a bunny at the back to get a point for their jammer.
Great hit out there from Bubble O'Kill. She gets 1 point, calls it off.
Madge looking frustrated though. She forced the jammer out of bounds to stop the scoring, but she picked up the forearms for her efforts. That's always tough. It's you try and keep your arm right in on your body. All it takes is
just that extension.
Yeah, width of a piece of paper. If the refs can see daylight there, they will call the forearms.
If there's a crack of light coming through, then that's too much. So on the outside, a bit of a sandwich here. Pure Energy using her jammer, her blockers to try and get through.
Bambi Von Smasher, she's going to try and repeat that last jam she had. She has a really strong Assassin's Wall. Pure Energy picks up lead, but Bambi Von Smasher is less than 10 feet behind her.
Pure Energy looks stoked to get that lead jammer status over Bambi Von Smasher, trying to hit her out.
Oh, jammer on jammer.
Oh, and it's a cut. Bambi Von Smasher went out of bounds to hit Pure Energy. Oh, did not work in her favor. Pure Energy is now unopposed to score.
Tough call, and Madge back on the track and straight back towards the penalty box with another forearms. Madge has been a real power blocker, really strong on the offense, but those penalties are not going to help her. She racks up her 4th. Looks like they're all forearms.
Oh, this recycling between Behemoth Rhapsody and Rainbow Spite just really working hard, and that was a forearm penalty from Behemoth Rhapsody.
All right, unfortunately, the box is loaded for the Vice City Rollers. There is 4 green skaters in the penalty box right now.
Yeah, I think Behemoth Rhapsody's been waved back onto the track until the penalty box is free.
Yeah, she's going to have to start in queue. Stacey DC wearing the pivot stripe and standing for the Assassins. It's going to give Rotten Roller a really strong start. Beautiful work, though.
Oh, Anthrax is such a formidable blocker. Pushing her all the way to the inside, then the outside, then the outside again. Behemoth Rhapsody being waved off the track to go and serve her penalty. She is through, but Bambi Von Smasher, not too far behind, having to re-engage after being hit to the inside.
One of the best executions of a power jam start by Vice City Rollers I've seen all weekend. The double team of Bowie and Anthrax were able to hold up Rotten Roller all the way through to turn 4. That burnt a lot of the penalty time for the Canberra jammer.
That's right. Gave Bambi Von Smasher enough time to at least get into the pack, trying to make that initial pass, but really stuck behind that wall. Juicy Vengeance, Peggy Spew, and Stacey DC forced to be reckoned with. Now Behemoth trying to give some offense, but Rotten Roller coming through, wanting to score points. This is a really physical game from both teams here from Canberra and Sydney alike.
No pack called by Axiom Addict. That releases Rotten Roller. She's going to pick up points 11 through to 15 for this jam. Extending the lead. It's now 92 to 40. There is still time on the clock for more scoring while we've seen a star pass. Knuckles takes the star. Does force a call off before Rotten Roller can score for 2 minutes unopposed.
That's right. No points there for Vice City. Sydney still racking up that lead, 54 points in it. Sydney on 94 points. Canberra Vice City Rollers on 40 points. We have just under 5 minutes left of this first half.
Both jam refs are currently standing at the scoring bench. They're working out the lap points. Looks like one of those passes was not a 5 for Rotten Roller.
Oh, Power Pout coming through on one skate, taking a bit of a tumble and still managing to get through for that lead jammer status. Chaos on the outside, trying to get past Peggy Spew. She's been released.
It was some beautiful footwork. Pow Pow with the awareness. I think her one arm went out of bounds, but as of the most recent rule update on that is not a track cut. So she gets up, keeps going, picks up 3 points to nothing, extending the Assassins' lead with 4 minutes left in period 1.
Interesting watching Power Pout. Any other skater, any lesser experienced skater would draw a cut from the kind of skating seen by Power Power, but she manages to keep it in and keep it legal, and it's really good to see skaters pushing those boundaries, but still maintaining skating legally. I love those calls where you're like, was that a cut? I'm not sure, and then it gets through, and it's just great.
Definitely the different styles of skaters, everyone from a different background. Power Pout, an inliner from back in the day, riding a lot of ramps the last couple of years. She's been really showing her strength this weekend. But right now we have Moody for the Assassins. She's out with lead jammer as Bubbles, wearing the star for the Vice City Rollers, picks up a track cut. This is going to be tough. Five more points picked up by Moody there as Bubbles gets out of the box. She goes jammer on jammer. Tries to hit Moody out of the way. Not enough to really do much. But still psychologically, that little bit of tenacity always plays on the opposing jammer's mind when there's contact. And that gets Bubbles out. She's on her scoring pass now. Moody calls it off as she's forced out of bounds. Tough defense by the Vice City Rollers, but 9 unopposed points added to the Assassins total. 105 to 105 plays 40. You should be able to hear at home that huge cheer for the home crowd. But I can see a lot of Assassins fans in the crowd also. There's no space on the suicide line here as Knuckles picks up lead jammer. Pure Energy is trapped behind a wall of green. Knuckles gets that lap point, gets stuck in the pack against a juicy Slayer double team, but not held up for very long. 5 points to the Vice City Rollers, while Pure Energy still stuck in the back on her initial. That four wall by the Vice City is working a treat.
Knuckles getting hit to the inside from Juicy Vengeance. I think Juicy is hanging back, trying to give some assistance to Pure Energy.
Knuckles.
Sydney deciding to come up for defense. Juicy Vengeance does a little hip check on the outside, not enough to keep her in. A 5-point pass for Vice City, and the crowd here in Canberra just loving this.
Knuckles still scoring pretty easily there. 5 more points. Bambi doing some beautiful one-on-one on Pure Energy, but not enough to contain her. She's on her scoring pass now, approaching the pack as Knuckles calls it.
Tightening that gap.
3 more points. Beautiful points awareness by Knuckles. She picks it up, calls it off. She adds 13 points.
Now I had to step away for a moment, and I missed the start of that jam. Did you see what kind of points were in that last jam from Knuckles? Looks like there were a few natural grand slams.
There were. She was scoring pretty unopposed. Just beautiful offense. The four wall from the Vice Rollers was just giving her time. Sometimes the best offense is a good defense.
Absolutely.
The four wall holding energy back. Really just no space to go. We are now seeing an official review up in the center of the track. You can see it on your live stream there. Anthrax stating her concern to head ref Alex Van Dorn. Big thank you to all our officials. Again, they're all volunteers. They come here at their own expense. Alex coming up from Melbourne. I see a couple of Melbourne refs out there, a couple of Sydney refs. Actually, we have three Melbourne, three Melbourne, two Wollongong, one Southside, and one Canberra-based ref. So refs from all over out there.
That's right. We also had some referees representing from Richter City as well. So thank you to everyone who came over from our neighbours over in New Zealand.
And our alt ref for this game from Perth. So we have a very multi-statural officials crew here. The refs didn't have to talk long about that official review. I can't actually hear what it's about, but it didn't take very long. While we're resetting, a big thank you to our stream sponsors, Better Bearings, Tavish Designs, and especially Spank Alley, making this possible. The internet feeds.
By Blocky Balboa.
Bubbles through on her scoring pass, but Power Pout with nearly a lap advantage. Anthrax picks up that penalty. I believe that was out of play. She was blocking like a demon, though, to hold up Power Pout.
Bouncing from one blocker to the other between Rainbow Spite, Madge, and Behemoth Rhapsody. I think she kind of like swiveled the hips around a Spite. Couldn't get back around after she'd been re-caught by Spite, cooling off the jam there. Really great footwork and absorbing those hits there from Canberra.
So with that call off, we are through to halftime here on track 1, day 3 of Quad Save the Queen. The officials are just tallying things. You can see on your live stream the penalty board. We got a few skaters in trouble. Slayer Kenny, she's had some penalty troubles all weekend. She's on 5 for the Assassins. No one else above 3. But Canberra, they have some more trouble. Anthrax being one of the real standouts in the pack. Unfortunately, racking up 5 penalties for all that effort. We also see Knuckles. She's on 4. Both jamming and blocking has paid its toll. Behemoth Rhapsody is on 4. And Madge, another real pivotal blocker for the Vice City Rollers with 4 forearms calls. All of those skaters are going to have to clean things
go into penalties as the play gets more desperate. These are full 30-minute halves. We are halfway through. And there just needs to be some really smart play in the next part of this game for Canberra's Vice City Rollers, the home league here for Quad Save the Queen, against Sydney City Assassins. Both teams undefeated in their pools and the lightning rounds. So this is really the decider. Not just for getting into the finals by differentials, but wins overall.
So for those watching at home, we apologise. The stream has been going up and down a little bit. The wireless telecom coverage in this venue has been a little bit patchy this weekend. It's caused some technical grief. Currently, we're trying to reconnect the scoreboard through after the last drop down. We have 12 minutes left of halftime. The score is 108 to the Assassins, 53 to the Vice City Rollers. Vice City Rollers in the fluoro green, Assassins in black. Definitely some strong rosters from both teams here. Something I've noticed, interestingly, the lineups for Assassins have been very, very consistent all weekend long. They've got 4 jammer covers that just stay on the jammers' helmets the whole game. They are dedicated jammers. They don't mix it up. They just sit there, prepare for the next jam, go out, smash a bunch of points, and go and rest.
I did notice that with some of the other teams, like Richter City, they had the pivots with the pivots at all times, and the jammers had those jammer panties. But although they would have a jammer come straight off the jam, swap the jammer panty for the pivot panty and get straight back out there. So that's really great examples of all-rounder players in some of these leagues. So recapping on the weekend, any highlights that you'd like to share from the weekend here at Quad Save the Queen here in Canberra?
There's been a lot of highlights. Clear standout is the one that you and I last called together. Vice City Betamax up against the Wards of the Skate. That game went to overtime, and in the only one I can recall, overtime went with no jammer penalties and no star passes. It was hectic. It was exciting. Teams were cheering. They were loving it.
It was incredible. I think the crowd from Track 1 heard the ruckus from Track 2 and came over to see what was happening, and just the roof was just lifted. The excitement was palpable. It's the one of the very few times where, yes, like we said, the overtime jam had a result that tipped in the other way. And I think one thing that can be said from the bench management from Vice City Betamax is never, ever, ever call a timeout or never finish a jam when you're only 8 points in front and go for another jam, because, you know, if you're in front, you want to run that clock down, because 8 points is nothing at this level of play when you're playing for lightning rounds to go into the next games. That's for sure. Lots of learning experiences from this tournament this weekend, that's for sure.
It certainly is. I've been coaching for the last 18 months now. Definitely a big change from refereeing, preparing for a tournament. As a referee, you prepare your own game and no one else's. Preparing a team for a tournament like this is tough. The calls from the bench are even tougher at times. I think so many teams, it's an amazing opportunity. 12 teams from as far as New Zealand and Perth here. We've got Tasmania represented. We've got Melbourne represented. It's so many highlights. The full-length games, we've got some sanction games in. We got some regulation games in. We're going to see more of that now with teams ticking off their requirements to be WFTA members. I believe both of these teams here are really focusing on their WFTDA rankings.
Absolutely, and the results from the sanction game between Canberra and Richter City later today will definitely affect their rankings. I did see the ranking list on WFTDA saying that Sydney Roller Derby League were ranked 93 in the world.
Both of these teams right on the cusp of qualifying for D2 playoffs. To date, we've only seen the Victorian Roller Derby League make it into WTDA playoff territory. Sun State have got their rankings. They're looking pretty set to play at D2, possibly even D1. And these two teams that we've seen on track, just trying to keep warm, ready for the second half, they're definitely going to be looking towards that this year. It's certainly exciting stuff for Australian Derby. The level of this tournament, while there's been some blowout scores, a lot of teams have certainly learnt a lot. The team I've been coaching, we're going to be sitting down on Thursday night with the HD footage here that we've recorded on Down Under Derby TV, and we're going to be going jam through jam to work out what our packs can do to skate like these two teams here is essentially what my plan is.
Absolutely, and I think one thing, if I were to put my hat in the ring for feedback would be some way of training jammers to avoid those new jammer penalties that we've seen from aggressive jamming, back blocks, forearms, elbows, as opposed to the traditional track cuts that we've usually seen, that more aggressive play. So it's with every development that you have in the rules and the way that skaters skate, you get another byproduct, such as these kind of penalties. So it should be interesting to take that feedback, watching the footage and actually seeing how that eventuates into a new strategy or a new level of playing or or how you approach the game. Because that's definitely a set of penalties that I've seen consistently over the weekend that, I'll be spending some time kind of pondering that coming out of this tournament, as Vice City and Betamax have managed to get a few penalties on that as well. So just an interesting bit of insight there that I've seen. But that doesn't mean that that the level of play has been any lesser. It's just in a different way. And I think more aggressive jamming is what's needed when you have these really hard defense, such as those really hard walls, bracing, and the implementation of the box formation from the blockers when they just won't let up.
I think that thing you just mentioned, the box formation, has been the really defining factor in the last 12 months of Derby. I've been running a primary jam rotation for my team at Sydney City Smash, and I have to use a different jamming style when a team can do that box defense effectively. We've scrimmaged the Assassins a few times lately. It's tough to go up against them. I've literally switched my training focus in the last 12 months to off skates. As a jammer, on skates training is good. Off skates training gives you more results because you need to have that power. You need the cardio for sure against those walls, because it's tiring those walls and crashing in that works. No matter how strong you are, you're not going to push through a box defense that's locked in properly.
Absolutely. I've noticed a lot of the jammers who have started cross-training, conditioning training, so getting hit or, that ability to be able to recover quickly is really important. So, interesting to see how that transfers into cross-training and that kind of thing.
Yeah, it's super important. Just a couple of months ago, VRDL were preparing for the Big O, and they invited Smash to come and play the All-Stars in a closed-door bout. So I first-hand experience at jamming against the toughest box defense in the country. It was brutal. I think I got lead twice against that, and every time brute strength was not what got through. The only way was to get that box defense to collapse and get through. And kind of unfortunately, that game ended for me going up against the box wall and tearing my ACL against it. I didn't fall, didn't get hit. It was just so strong that the load made my knee completely
compliments to VRDL, I guess.
It was, definitely compliments to that wall. It was so strong. There was nothing I could do about it. And I'm seeing this, both the Assassins and the Vice City Rollers using that same strength here. And they've used it all weekend. It's certainly shut a lot of teams off the scoreboard.
Yeah, I think the thing that will really make or break this next half is definitely penalties, but also resetting as a team. I think there's been a couple of jams where Vice City gets separated, or Sydney loses the brace in their wall, and that capitalizes on those points, and not getting caught up at the back, getting plucked off by that assist. So really interesting to see how this next one plays out. Vice City 55 points behind.
Yeah, it's certainly,
which is nothing.
Certainly, I've seen bigger turnarounds in many high-level games in the last 12 months. It's certainly possible. It happens at, I'm trying to think of a few examples, but it's definitely 50 points you can close with the right half-time readjustment. I can see Assassins there off the track there, really talking in a big huddle there. They're going to play smart. This is, with the score on the board right now, it's their game to lose. And that can be done by rattling. So they're going to have to stay calm and stay focused and play the way they train. Vice City looks pretty chilled out here on their bench. They're all just kind of sitting around. They know what they have to do. They've been here before. They've beaten the Assassins plenty of times over the last 5 years.
That's right. Sydney was probably formed about a year before Canberra Roller Derby League, and we took our time getting to bouting status, and had a lot to prove in the early days of competition at Eastern Regionals, and lost in the first Eastern Regionals, but then consistently won. Haven't lost a game to Sydney since 2012. But then the new look Sydney Assassins took the win earlier in the year at Wollongong, I believe, at a friendly match. But it kind of confirmed that this new Sydney team is a force to be reckoned with, and I really like that challenge to Vice City because they've been going from strength to strength and really needing a challenge to rattle them, which they've been getting from Sun State and from VRDL. But getting it closer to home here from Sydney is a really good way of really working up their competition, and really great for Sydney to see them going from strength to strength, taking it to teams like South Sea and such. Coming out of this tournament undefeated is really great to see from Sydney.
Yeah, it's a very different look squad. Just for those listening at home, you can't see it, but there is 1 minute 15 left of halftime, so the teams are lining up. They're getting ready to get going. The rivalry between these teams is there to see. Vice City Rollers, they've been holding that massive SmackDown trophy since the very first SmackDown in 2010. Assassins not able to take it off them. Only one win by the Assassins against Vice City Rollers all that time, and that was one that counted. That was TGSS 2012, went into overtime. The crowd went nuts there, and then, as you just mentioned, just a couple of months ago at the WFTDA officiating clinic, these guys played a sanctioned game. Yeah. It was for rankings, and it was the one that Assassins were really out to win, and they made it count. This squad very, very different to the squad we saw last year. A lot of retirements from the Assassins.
And transfers from other leagues. So using that pool of experience from neighbouring leagues and really bringing it together into one team and getting them to play together as a team is really great to see.
Yeah, Pout transferring from the Western Sydney Boutlaws. Minkia transfer in. And I think I counted 6 snipers that have stepped up from. They were on the B team last year, and they are really excelling. Most of the Jammer rotation actually were snipers last year. So that tells you a lot about the development at Sydney Roller Derby League. As we get 5 seconds called for period 2 here of the grand final. This is the last 30 minutes. We'll see a quad save the Queen. Thanks to Better Bearings, Tavish Designs, and especially Spank Alley. Pout, lead jammer already for the Assassins.
Bambi Von Smasher not too far behind. Quarter of a track, really catching up. Pout really using those long strides to get ahead. Vice City wanting to keep it in front. We have both pivots in the bin at this time, wanting to get through. Already got a point from Bubble O'Kill. 2 points there, so that's that point from Anthrax in the bin. Damage managing to save a point. Ending up again in the bin. Damage looking like she might be fouling out this half. That is her 5th penalty. No, it's her 4th. Getting that forearms penalty. Forearms. So
I think she was on 4 already, so this will be number 5.
Well, penalty tracker pointing to that. Yes, it is her 5th.
Well, at least she's done something different. That's misconduct.
Ooh.
Misconducts have changed in the most recent rule set. There's a whole bunch of new misconducts that used to be illegal procedures, so it's a bit hard to tell what that could have been.
What? It looks like a 6.
No, that's
or
a G.
G. Oh.
Misconduct doesn't have a G in it, but that's the penalty code.
Yeah, that's to get it so it doesn't get mixed up with multiplayer. But for this jam, we have Pure Energy jamming for the Assassin. She's lead jammer. Freudian Slip wanting to close that gap, hopefully call this jam dead. Damage busting her way up through out of the penalty box, not wanting to give away her point. Damage hitting to the outside, spinning her around. See, no points there. 2 points scored.
Against lead. Nice pressure from the pack. That was the blockers won that for the Vice City. The damage definitely forcing Pure Energy out of bounds without letting her hip get past her on the way.
Yes, there's always that risk when you turn around that you stick out the hips just a touch and give away your point, but she managed to do that. Also kept her arms out of it, so that's handy. Full pack advantage going to Vice City. Moody Bitch jamming, getting past overbearing, but taking a knee. Oh, and it's Knuckles through lead jammer. This is exactly what Vice City need.
Just power up the inside line by Knuckles, but Moody Bitch just like quarter of a lap, maybe 30 feet behind both jammers, putting their speed on. Pretty grippy floor out there. They're able to really arc through the corners.
That's right. Moody Bitch getting through past overbearing, but it was almost like her feet didn't follow, taking a knee there and allowing enough disturbance in the pack for Knuckles to bust through on the inside. 2 points going there to Vice City, none to Sydney Assassins. Score is Sydney leading on 110 points. Canberra Roller Derby League's Vice City Rollers on 57 points.
Canucks looking for 3 points there, but the Assassins were too aware of their hip positions. They pulled it forward and maintained just that 2-point gain, 110-57, as Pout goes up against Bambi Von Smasher. Strong formation by both teams. Juicy Vengeance dragging Bambi back almost to where she started. Meanwhile, Pout getting lead as they hit the apex. The no pack call releasing a good strong wall though by Vice City. They're really showing their training here. They're focused. Pout uses that agility for 5 points, so picks up the lap.
And it looks like the jam has been called. One of the Sydney skaters taking a tumble on the suicide line.
That's a little tough. These guys have been playing, so I think this is game number 7 for both teams in 3 days. All but 2 of them are full length, so real tough stuff.
And off camera, the referees have built a nice little discretion wall to give the skater a bit of privacy. I think having to get the audience members in the suicide lane to just move back a touch, give her some space. She's managing to get to her feet. Great work there.
Blocky Balboa, cheers for her. She's up, she's skating off under her own power. She looks a little tough. She hits hard and she bounces back.
That's right, taking a bit, she was flat on her back there, so just wanting to make sure that she's okay, no risk of concussion there. They may ask her to sit out for the full 3 jams just to rest.
Big thank you to all the first aiders here, the medical professionals, as well as the bout medics, the volunteers from the Canberra Roller Derby League, keeping everyone safe. This is a tough tournament. The level of fitness this year, compared to last time we played a tournament in Canberra, which was Anzac weekend last year.
Yes, it was the Anzac.
The fitness is so strong. There hasn't been a lot of injuries.
No one, to my knowledge, no one has sustained a serious injury during this tournament so far. This desk is made of wood, tap.
Wood.
And it's really great to see that the management of injuries, but also the strength in use, particularly for injury management and prevention, is coming through in the roller derby community, which is great to see. Meanwhile, Pure Energy pushing hard on that VCR wall to get through for lead jammer status, taking her time to come through to score points. Pandy has been passed to Anthrax.
Yeah, good smart use of the star stash and star pass, but Juicy Vengeance, too aware of what's happening, drags Anthrax out of bounds and back. She's got the star on her helmet now, but only just busts through for the scoring pass, while Pure Energy communicates to a pack to line up a few more.
And Damage doing that hip push out on Pure Energy. Pure Energy was just like, I'm not even mad, I'm impressed, giving a hand slap to Damage on the after the whistle.
She definitely she gave props to that one. Pure Energy forced into a pretty uncomfortable looking splits, as she calls it off. She always impresses me how much she bounces back after a hit like that. I'm always slower than that.
Pout for jamming for Sydney Assassins. Chaos for Vice City. Some careful jamming from both teams. Chaos being stuck behind that wall. Minky at the front of that brace there. Great work. Pushing out the hips. Oh, and yes, it has indeed been called as a cut, forcing the cut onto Chaos. She re-entered illegally there.
Peggy Spew picking up the multiplayer block for the Assassins, but again, that's one of those penalties you got to say worth it. That 3 wall that was holding the Canberra jammer back was unstoppable.
Yes, and not only holding back, but forcing the cut. Really great work there from Minky, who's now drawn back Izzy to try and re-establish the pack.
Yeah, certainly forcing the jammer penalty by the Assassins, and that pops Pout, who's been the highest scoring pass count jammer. Is that a right term? She's done more
possibly.
scoring passes than any of the other jammers before calling.
Yeah, Pow taking a big fall after being hit from that wall, that VCR wall of overbearing Behemoth Rhapsody and Izzy. Taking a bit of a hitch, not quite sure when to call, looking to her bench, tried to go again, wasn't happening, called it off. 2 points for that pass for Sydney. Sydney now on 130 points to Canberra's Varsity Rollers on 57 points.
Yeah, well, the halftime chats don't really seem to have done anything other than maintained the packs looking the same as we saw in the first period. Both teams calm, controlled, and together. But the bracing of Assassins just seems that little bit stronger, and that's what's doing it for them on the scoreboard.
The resetting that I'm seeing from Sydney is phenomenal. Jammers thinking that they've gotten out and then are just recaptured up at the front, that resetting. Bambi Von Smasher thought she was free, and then they just kind of stream through to the front. She's been released now. She's lead jammer for the Vice City Rollers. Moody Bitch not too far behind.
Yeah, strong lead jammer status for Bambi Von Smasher. She's signaling to her team to try and set up those points, but the Assassins blockers up the front, they know what they're doing. Oh, look at that footwork. A 180 spin, blind call off, 4-0 for Bambi Von Smasher.
Great work there, and real testament to the teamwork of the Vice City Roller blockers setting up those points. I think they drew back Stacey DC and daisy chained her at the back there, so she wasn't sure where to re-engage, setting up that point there. So
yeah,
really great work.
Stone Jet locking the banana block. Canberra, I think, are known for their banana blocking skills.
What is this banana block?
It's where you spin around backwards and you make a banana shape with your whole body.
Oh,
your
yeah.
hips go behind the skater and the rest of your body goes in front of them. And there's nowhere for that person to move.
See, I knew what that was. I just didn't know what it was called. Yeah, I guess you could say that's our thing.
What do you call it down in Canberra?
Oh, I don't know. I call it a swizzle.
A swizzle?
Yeah.
Okay.
But the banana block, that sounds cool. I like that. Rotten Roller in the pack.
And 5 points. And lead jammer for Freud. She's got those signature leg warmers on.
That's right. Behemoth Rhapsody trying to draw back Rotten Roller, but getting a penalty herself. This holding of Rotten Roller has been really good, just releasing her now, but managing to get that earlier 5-point pass for Freudian Slit. Freud trying to just duck and weave around. Stacey DC holding up Freudian Slit at the front there. Oh, Stacey DC getting that out of play. She goes to the bin saying, "Thank you, ref."
Freud are trusting her pack there. She's going to go for a long jam here, so they're going to try and match point for point and trust that the blocker advantage that Vice City have on the track is going to do it for her. So far it does. I think the jam is called off. I didn't hear a repeated 4 whistle, but I think we hit the 2-minute mark. There's the whistles. A little bit of confusion on the track. The jam ref certainly didn't hear it. He was still signaling lead. That's going to be tough to call the number of points because it was a little unclear when that jam ended, but 3 points signaled. That should bring us to a 13 points to 2, I think. Just waiting for the scorekeepers there, confirming there's going to be a timeout while they sort this out. That's a little tough. The 4 whistles so important to determining the final score. The jam timer definitely called it, but I don't think any of the refs heard. So while we've got that, we'll just give you a quick recap. We're in the final 20 minutes of Quad Save the Queen here. All the action happening on track 1 with a packed suicide line. Big thank you to the 12 teams competing this weekend. 2 from Canberra, 2 from Sydney, 2 from Perth. We've got South Seas from the south of Melbourne. We got Northside from the north of Melbourne. We got Convict City from Hobart. We have Richter City from Wellington. We have Southside from the south of Sydney. We have the Varsity Dishonour Rollers from, well, Canberra / training in Fishwick.
They're in Queanbeyan. They're in Quangers.
Queanbeyan now, sorry. So they're kind of half New South Wales, half ACT at the moment.
Regional.
Regional. I think I got everyone. Thank you to all the officials. We have officials traveling from all of those locations. And big thank you to our stream sponsors, Better Bearings, Tavish Designs, and Spankali. Go to the Down Under Derby TV Facebook page. You can get all the info on these amazing sponsors. They're paying for this bandwidth so you can see it. And thank you for WFTDA.tv. This is the first Australian tournament that's being scheduled through their streaming network. Very exciting stuff. We're back underway. The scores were worked out there. 134 plays 74 with Knuckles lead jammer and a big cheer from the crowd.
That's right. Peggy Spew wanting to use Slayer Kinney to push on the inside line, but Knuckles getting that lead jammer status. 1.2 Vice City.
Tough work. The pure energy using that speed and agility to pick up 4 points against lead, only one by Knuckles. That's not what they need to try and close this points differential with 20 minutes left on the clock. So into this, what does Vice City need to do?
At this stage, what they would need to do is, just as we said, keep their jammer on the track
first. Keep the jammer on the
first.
track, I think, is number one. Unfortunately, they haven't done that this jam.
High block being dealt to Chaos, and now pivot, Bambi Von Smasher going to the bin. I was going to say, keep your players out of the bin. That just goes across the board, really. But also keep your players in play and just kind of reset as a team. I've seen them come from behind in a lot of different games, and this is definitely the most interesting and most challenging so far, thinking that they know their opponent and just completely being blindsided by their neighbours from Sydney, the Assassins.
Yeah, Chaos now served her penalty time. She's trying to get through, gets her initial pass. I think the number one thing that the Vice City needs to do is turn around the penalties.
That hit out from Madge doing that turnaround, but she took herself out of play in the process. Powerpack got those 4 points anyway, called it off.
Yeah, Vice City and the Assassins both with one player apiece on 6 penalties, but just looking at the penalty board, there is clearly a few more on the Canberra side, and that's going to determine it. As a jammer, I know the best offense is to have people in the box. That's simply
absolutely
it.
And any jam where Sydney have been in control, where the Canberra skaters have been in the box, that's the time that they have been calling it to get that advantage. Only 3 to get past, only 2 to get past.
Yeah, it makes a huge difference to your point scoring ability to have a blocker advantage. So that's what I would say Canberra really needs to focus on at this point. It's going to be tough to bring back. Assassins are just about double their score right now. 147 playing 75. We have 16 minutes left. It's going to be pretty tough to close that. I do recall TGSS 2012 bronze final, more than 100 points scored differential by the team that was behind in the second period, though. That was Adelaide versus North Brisbane, I believe it was.
Right.
They scored
2012, you say?
Yeah, that was North Brisbane came out and scored 110 points to 10 by the Adelaide team, and Adelaide were up by more than 70 at halftime. So this is possible. It's not unheard of. That was back in minors' days. So
yeah, I slipped up today. I said 6 major penalties, and I just thought, where did that come from? That's showing my age in Derby years. Moody Bitch getting past Rainbow Spite there. Anthrax trying to hit out there, but having to re-engage. We've got Freudian Slit jamming for the Vice City Rollers.
Moody with a strong lead jammer. She's not pushing too hard at the moment. The clock is definitely in the Assassins' favour. They're going to set up clean points and make sure that the Vice City can't turn around that penalty deficit. It's working there. 5 points to Moody.
Overbearing and Rainbow Spite having an embrace, both being warned for a out-of-play penalty.
Minky going to the box for the Assassins, joining Anthrax in there. Anthrax up to 6 penalties. Minky picking up 3. Multiplayer box suck.
And in that effort to get Freudian Slit out of the bin, they gave a few points away to Minky. She comes around, calls it off. 4 points for Sydney. Sydney on 156. Vice City on 75 points. And 15 minutes left to go in this half.
We are exactly at three-quarter time. The captain of Vice City having a chat with head ref Alex Van Dorn. Just making sure that everything's kosher.
Now here's a matchup that I like. Bambi Von Smasher versus Pure NRG. Oh, and it's Bambi Von Smasher using that footwork on the inside line. This is a nice confidence boost for Vice City, trying to get some points here. And this leaves the Vice City blockers to do what they do best, and that is defend.
And yes, Bambi getting the lead with my single favourite move in all of Derby, the 360 spin. It was beautifully executed right up the inside line.
And Juicy Vengeance doing a great hit out and run back on Bambi Von Smasher. Bambi meets the 3-wall brace, just trying to push them out of play at this point. Oh, and Pure Energy getting a track cut penalty. This could be an opportunity to close that gap from for Vice City to get a little bit closer to the lead.
Oh, and Bambi Von Smasher on 1 foot trying to stay in bounds. She passed everyone, but she steps out, and Juicy Vengeance doing what she does best, recycling her. That looks like about 55 feet she just got dragged back.
That's right. This is not the time to be taking risks. Bambi Von Smasher playing conservatively, just wanting to stay on the track. Minky hitting out. Bambi Von Smasher. Bambi hands the jammer panty to Knuckles.
So she forfeits lead jammer status by taking it off and the star pass. But 2 minutes of scoring is the win for that. Knuckles through. She doesn't have the star on her helmet, but Bambi had already picked up the 5 points.
That's right. She just needed to get out of the pack, picking up that 5 points while Energy was in the bin.
21 seconds left for Knuckles to pick up hopefully 5 more, which she does. No, she picks up only the 4. There wasn't the lap point in there because Energy is pushing on the track. The 3-wall at the front.
Only 2 to defend. Knuckles taking her time. I feel like she could have made that quietly.
Yeah,
only 2 to defend at that during that jam, but it means that the jam ends with only 2 blockers on the track for Sydney. Juicy staying on the track. She is their best bet to try and defend with Slayer Kinney against Chaos. Full pack advantage going to Vice City for this jam against Power Pout for Sydney.
Bambi doing a fantastic job, doing what a lot of jammers don't do. They hand the star off and they're just like, oh, I'm done, I'll just sit here now. She braced that wall and held Energy back. Super strong.
That's right. A panty pass is not a vacation. And if you pass that star, you have that obligation to get the best result for your team and not just roll around. And, you know, Bambi Von Smasher wanting to change that focus to defending and letting Knuckles get those points. Speaking of points, Power Pout getting through. Well,
0 points apiece. She had Chaos right on her tail, but...
That was odd because one of the VCR skaters got knocked out of bounds, so I would assume that she got her point.
Yeah, that's just
Tricky.
because the blocker's off the track doesn't mean the jammer can't score their point. But 0-0 for that jam according to the scoreboard. 156 plays 84. Again, Assassins don't need to risk anything at this point. They have a strong points lead. But I'm sure they want to show the Vice City that they're not going to slack off now.
That's right. That game earlier in the year was not a fluke. Sydney wanting to prove a point here.
And Freud, she smashes through, doesn't get lead jammer, but she is hauling Moody in. Moody definitely not getting the big strides that Freud's putting on. That form that we've seen in a lot of the photos of Freud jamming is just, you can see how quickly she closed that gap. Moody trying to call it off. The jam ref unsighted, allowing Freud to pick up 4 points to the 1 of the Assassins. That was tough. The Assassin jammer calling it off for a little while, but an entire wall of green in the way of the jam ref's vision.
Rainbow Spike getting a penalty at the end of that jam. She was hit out by Stacey DC, lifted a foot to try and stay in bounds, but still getting a penalty. I'll have to confirm what that penalty was for because I was watching her very closely to make sure that she didn't cut.
That was Spike's first penalty.
It is. Forearms. Pardon me, forearms. I was not watching her arms, I was watching her feet. So very likely that there was a forearms penalty being implemented there.
We have our first foul out. Peggy Spew, number 1957. She collects penalty number 7, and head ref Alex Van Dorn is directing her off the track and out of the bench area. We have a few skaters in penalty trouble. Number 1, 2, 3, 6 for Canberra.
That is Madge.
Madge with all those forearms,
That's
a
right.
misconduct and a high block. I think that is number 1957, Behemoth Rhapsody,
Yes.
sorry. She's also on 6. We have Anthrax on 6, Peggy Spew now on 7, Stacey DC for the Assassins is on 6, and Slayer Kenny for the Assassins is on 6. Still 10 minutes left to play. That's going to come into effect later, I'm sure.
And there's 4 M's for 88. Minky. Multiplayer blocks. Minky. Gotta watch those multiplayer blocks. And when you're doing a brace, it's kind of a jammer's dream to go for those arms, have them contested, and get them off the track. So, track cut penalty being dealt to Power Pout there. So Vice City Chaos, number 5-6 in the green.
It was beautifully done by the Vice City wall there. They really made that cut happen. They forced her out, and just as Power Pout was trying to jump back in, they thrust the hips back and got the cut.
Chaos getting forced to the inside on that last pass attempt, but she straddled the line, stepped out of bounds legally, so did not get a track cut penalty. But if she wasn't on top of that, it could have ended badly.
Now, the Sydney Assassins, they know how to play Power Jam. They train this. That was a really strong penalty kill. Chaos now through for 5 points, but that took a while.
Pow busting through that pack and getting a back block penalty. Just a little too much sauce on that burrito for Pow Pout.
Yeah, certainly she's been using her agility to date. Came in there hot and paid the penalty for it. A big hit by Juicy to the inside on Chaos, forcing her back. Counting. That looked like another 55 feet.
That's right. Juicy is my absolute favorite blocker from Sydney. I love watching her just consistently do it. And she's staying on the track in this last part of the game. She wants to defend the best that she can. And I think Juicy, being one of the existing Assassins in this changeover of teams, really showing some great leadership here for the Assassins, for the new transfer skaters and the snipers moving up through the ranks in Sydney Roller Derby League. Really great to see.
Yeah, certainly one of the veterans, and with the fitness to do it at the start of the year. She came to a whole bunch of Smash training sessions and just worked on strength and endurance with us. I remember every week she was complaining how much sweat there was all over her, and it wasn't her own.
Yeah. The boys are a bit gross, but they make you really fit. I was just having a giggle at Knuckles. The whistle for lead jammer was blown, and she thought it was a track cut, but it was actually a track cut penalty being called on Power Pout. She looked at it, is it me? No, it's not me. I can keep skating.
You want to be safe. You don't want to push these things. Like an insubordination is the last thing you want.
Well, she did foul out last game, so she's wanting to keep on top of those penalties. Busting through for a 5-point pass for Vice City Rollers. Power Pout on the track. Knuckles giving her a little bit of a bop on her way through, but not wanting to risk anything. It is Power Pout's initial pass, so she does have a little bit of time to get some more points.
Now, I think your live stream at home was obstructed by the penalty board. Knuckles, just beautiful footwork. She managed to toe-stop run past 4 Assassins, and now there is a misconduct call. Power Pout just sat her 4th jammer penalty in a row without taking the star off. Bowie has just fouled out for Vice City. She's just sent straight off the track without even pausing this jam.
That's right. A real shake to Power Pout's confidence at this late stage of the game. The last thing you want to do is get stuck into a penalty spiral.
Yeah, Madge and Bowie have fouled out without us even noticing. The refs really on top of that. We've seen a misconduct call and an illegal procedure, or is it just that the refs are discussing the fact that a bunch of illegal procedures became misconducts over the off-season?
Possibly. Stone Jet in the penalty box for Vice City.
Yeah, she's serving Bowie's penalty time, I believe. Now Power Pout back on the track after 4 trips to the box. She's looking aggressive. That hasn't worked for the last couple of jams. Let's see if it works here. No, Freud picking up lead jammer with those leggings.
Mm-hmm.
That famous stride. Look at that form. Lapping, and Stone Jet holding up Power Pout for a long time there. Really
That's right. They are
effective
up
tool.
for points here. They are wanting to get points at this stage.
All right, so after that, we've had Vice City on a serious roll. They fouled out a couple of skaters, but 3-0. They brought the score really back into it. 1-1-4 plays 1-5-7, and Sydney call a timeout, funnily enough.
Yeah, this is the time where Sydney are saying, look, we are still in the lead. There is 5 minutes to go of this game. Hold on to it. Hold on to it.
Yeah, they're going to really try and calm them down. It's a tough thing to say to your team. You've got 5 minutes left after 7 games in 3 days. This is the toughest one. They've been undefeated so far. They're looking to go undefeated for the weekend.
Meanwhile, Canberra playing in front of a home crowd, wanting to defend their undefeated title, also undefeated for the tournament, and winning this game against Sydney in front of a home crowd would just mean a lot to them. They win quite consistently against Sydney, against other teams when they go away games, but they want to be able to bring this win home for Canberra during this long weekend tournament, Quad Save the Queen, here in Canberra in the nation's capital, Australia, hosted by Canberra Roller Derby League and brought to you on the stream by Derby Down Under TV. And hello to anyone watching on WFTDA. It is a real honour to be able to be streaming for you from the nation's capital here in Australia.
Yeah, I'm not sure you can quite pick it up on the live stream camera, but there is smiles for miles coming from Bambi Von Smasher, Knuckles, and the other Canberra skaters. They just love being out there.
That's right. Bambi trying to position herself as 4th blocker while setting up for her teammates, getting stuck in between those players. There's a forearm penalty being dealt to Juicy Vengeance.
I believe that was a low block. She did fall, and Bambi tripped over her. Bambi picking up lead jammer, but pure energy turning on that tap of energy that seems to be endless for her, closing the gap on Bambi pretty quick.
And Spite trying to take out Stacey DC to collect a point.
Energy looked like she got 1 point there. She did. Bambi picks up 2. Nicklin diming it is not going to work with 4 minutes 33 on the clock.
That's right. There was a double jammer takeout there. Rumpire OPR for Canberra getting a little bit of a shock there when 2 jammers came flying at him on turn 1. Always exciting.
Certainly the occupational risk of being an OPR. These guys trained for it, but I've seen a few good OPR takeouts this weekend.
Yeah.
I only have met one skater that ever aimed to do that.
No one aims to do it. It's that call off at the end where it's so incredibly fast. Great bracing happening from Sydney Roller Derby League. A Rotten Roller coming through. She is lead jammer for Sydney. Juicy Vengeance still in the bin, so 3 to defend against a Vice City jammer. Freudian slit.
Freud goes up against a one-wall jammer machine of Stacey DC. She just single-handedly held Freud up, allowed the Assassins to reset, and we have a star pass to Chaos. Freud's like, I am not getting through this wall. Someone else have a go.
That's right.
Smart stuff. It popped the jammer out.
These really physical games are quite a challenge to jammers like Freud. And it looks like jammers such as Chaos, Bambi, and Knuckles are what is needed against these really hard Sydney walls. That being said, Freud is an exceptional jammer. Just when you think that you've hit her over, she kind of bends back like one of those toys that you press, and the legs stay, but the body kind of gives out, and it goes one way and it goes the other way. Really enjoy her strength and flexibility.
It's certainly, she has a unique style. She has a lot of form and she has a lot of fitness.
That's right. You were commenting on her form. I was going to say you could make a coffee table book at all of the great jamming photos of Freudian slips.
You certainly could.
You just call it stride.
And she manages to get the facials to go with it. I don't know about you, but every photo I seem to get of me jamming,
shark eyes.
I look like I'm catching flies with my mouth. I'm usually breathing so hard. I was like,
I'm always doing something weird with my mouth, like with my mouth guard. It's not a pretty look. Ever since they made those form-fitting mouth guards, I think it's made Derby photography like just that much more nicer to look at.
Yeah. I think we kind of need like reflective face masks that just like have a star on them, and that's all the.
Or just blur out the face completely.
Just blur out your face completely.
It's all about the form.
Work. Well, Freud doesn't have to worry about that. She pulls off good facials and good form every time.
She looks great. Doing great Derby and looking great doing it, and looking great on the inside of the jammer line. Bambi Von Smasher, easy pass through her own team. Moody Bitch getting held up there by Isa Belligerent and Bubble O'Kill. Stone Jet chasing her out on the turn 2. And Knuckles finishing off the job. Not quite enough. She keeps running.
Toe stop running for the win. 2 big hits on Moody. She's not a big girl, but she manages to stay in bounds, forcing the call off by Bambi Von Smasher with only 4 points gained. Winding a good period off the clock.
It's Vice City are catching up there, but I don't know if it's quite enough. It's looking like 43 points differential. Considering it was 130 points at one stage, Canberra Vice City Rollers are really catching up in this points. Could possibly take it from Sydney, and we'll see in the next 2 minutes and 10 seconds. Chaos jamming for Vice City, and Power Pout through lead jammer for Sydney.
Power Pout certainly doing the one thing that Assassins need is just to maintain lead here. I think it's 15 scoring passes or something they need, and 1 minute 53 on the clock. That's not enough time.
Oh, Stacey DC coming through for a great assist. Very bad last to defend, but getting away from her. Calls off the jam, 4 points.
4-0, and more importantly, burning the clock for the Assassins. That's what they need. We're going into 1 minute 35. If Assassins choose, this will be the last jam of the game. Assassins has to choose by getting lead jammer first, though. We're going to see a timeout, an official review. Rampage using it, I believe, just as a clock burning review. No. Yes, he is using it as one of the clock burning reviews. You can call the official review and just choose to take a minute timeout. Saves a little paperwork. Freud lining up against Rotten Roller for potentially the last jam of this game. You can hopefully hear that cheer from the crowd. They're going to cheer on Bambi, Stone, Jet. Can't see the rest of the wall.
That is a Belligerent, and on the inside, Knuckles.
Strong wall of green. They're taking the line. They're going to do what they can to stop Rotten Roller and to spring a lead for Freud. Stacey DC, Juicy Vengeance, Slayer Kinney, and Chewy, I think that is. They're going to do what they can to prevent them doing that. Assassins want to go out with control, I think.
Absolutely.
This last jam is going to be
47 points in it.
about pride here.
Oh, yeah.
Go out with the last points on the board is always, it's always something that you're happy about. Rotten Roller nearly through the front. Freud pushing up against Stacey.
Huge hit from Knuckles, getting drawn back.
Wow.
That was one of the most controlled hit-outs that I've seen, giving Freudian Slip the advantage of lead jammer.
And the hit out on Rotten Roller, taking Stone Jet out at the legs, drawing the low block. We're going to see some unopposed jamming. Freud, this is exactly what Canberra want. Look at that, round the outside, not touching a single Assassin's blocker.
40 points, 40 seconds, now 35 seconds left in the period.
This is going to go jam length, though. There is no possible reason why Freud would call this off. So she's got 1 minute, 3 seconds left to score 5 more points. She's going to close this right up. They're showing why Vice City have been the SmackDown champions the last 4 years.
Yeah, no time to dawdle. We are going to need some offense here, some assisting. Maybe not. Freudian Slip doing it all by herself. 5 points. Calling it off. 5 seconds to go. Timeout. We are going to have one more time.
There's a reason to call it off, to get another jam in. They're just not happy with that. They're going to just keep going.
I thought not enough time to make it back. 17 points in it. No, 27 points in it. Oh, my maths. I'm so excited. I thought if there was time on the period clock, call it off. Let's get another jam. You and I are on a good thing right now. We are getting the really exciting last jams.
We certainly are. I thought that Canberra were just going to run that and pick up as many points as they could, but no, they're not giving up. They're going to use this and try and get lead jammer one more time and repeat that. 27 points is 6 scoring passes, so that is definitely doable. We saw 12 scoring passes at the World Cup. I don't think we're going to see that in a single jam today, but 6 definitely doable. Forcing a couple of penalties on the opposing jammer and some good offense. 6 is way doable.
Conversely, if Sydney make this lead, they do not want to give anything away. They want to keep that lead, potentially call it off straight away. I don't like it when that happens, but I can understand why teams want to do it. Power first to get through, potentially lead jammer. Let's see if there's a hit out there from VCRs. Ben Gonzalez last through. It's lead jammer.
And she's just going to get the call at signal.
No!
And she does it. Chaos chases her out of the pack, but that is full time. 167 to the Assassins, 140 to Canberra. It was a good effort, calling it off, cutting down the scoring in that last jam for the opportunity to score some more here. Didn't quite pay off for them, but that was possible.
It did make Sydney desperately want to get through for that lead jammer advantage and call it off. They did not want Canberra to get that lead jammer advantage, that is for sure. Keeping Sydney on their toes. Canberra's Vice City Rollers. Not able to take the win today, but they definitely caught up. A 50-point lead, cutting that down, over half of that, 27 points in it at the last jam of the game.
That was an epic comeback. The Assassins did not go easy. They weren't resting. They were trying to put a strong win in, and Canberra just really coming back in that last 15 minutes. Maybe not even that. The last 10 minutes is where they really came back.
Okay, now, I need to go and help some of the debut skaters actually having their first game ever today on track 2, but we'll be having a sanctioned game here, Richter City and Vice City Rollers, later on today. I'll let you sign off. Colonel Panic, thank you very much. I'm Peachy Keen. Have a good afternoon.
Thanks, Peachy, and thank you, everyone. I hope you're down at your screens right now with your hands out to high-five these skaters as they come around. The Sydney Roller Derby League Assassins. Number 05, Chewhacker. Number 11, Power Pout. Number 120, Pure Energy. 138, Rotten Roller. 1957, Peggy Spew. 216, Moody Bitch. 2507, Stacey DC. 321, Feral Streep. Number 3411, Tricks and Stones. 53, Juicy Vengeance. Number 77, Slayer Kinney. Number 8008, Blocky Balboa. Number 88, Minky. And number 934, Serious Whack. Now the London Bridge for the home crowd. The home team, Canberra Roller Derby League, Vice City Rollers. They might not have won the game, but they sure won a lot of hearts with their strong play today. Number 5-6, AM Chaos. Number 8-9, Anthrax. Number 4-1-1, Bambi Von Smasher. 8-8, Very Bad. 1957, Behemoth Rhapsody. 303, Bubbaloo Kill. 604, Knuckles. 1337, Freudian Slit. 1551, is a Belligerent. 1236, Madge. 327, Overbearing. Number 10, Rainbow Spite. 70, Stone Jet. And number K9, Sugar Plum Crazy. Our final score here of the final game of the final day. Quad Save the Queen, Sydney Roller Derby League Assassins 167 defeats Canberra Roller Derby League Vice City Rollers 140. You can see the love between these two teams. You can see hugs and kisses going all around. Hard fought, good friends. Thank you everyone for tuning in. That was a great game, a great way to finish it. Smart work by both teams. Amazing jamming skills, that footwork. You're going to want to watch this one back on replay. Photographers lining up. We're about to see the trophy presentation. This game, all about the trophy. Points don't really matter in the end. Not a sanctioned game, so rankings aren't going to come out of this. It's just about the trophy. And it's about the Derby. These teams not professionals. Here for the love, here for the enjoyment. Showing it with a big group hug and group photo right in front of the camera here for you. Three cheers for both teams. One final word before we sign off for the weekend. Thank you again to WFTDA.tv and all the volunteers at Down Under Derby TV. Officials travelling from as far as Perth, New Zealand. Where else have we got them from? Melbourne. We got them from Canberra, Sydney. All over. I'm just looking at all the officials in the house. So many that volunteer their time and effort. The first aiders that have kept our skaters safe. Volunteers from the Canberra Roller Derby League. Can't say thank you enough. They have put on this tournament. They've organised to get 12 teams here. They have trackside medics. They have media coordinators. They have merch coordinators. They had 3 full tracks laid Friday night ready for these skaters. Thank you, Canberra Roller Derby League. And of course our stream sponsors, Better Bearings, Tavish Designs, and Spank Alley. Get onto the Down Under Derby TV Facebook page. You'll see the links for the archives of these. We'll be uploading them in full quality for your enjoyment. Thank you to all the crew at Down Under Derby. You still can tune in. Just flick your playlist over to the Royal Rumble and you'll be able to check the rest of the games out that are happening in Queensland this weekend. I've been Colonel Panic. Pitchy Keen's already signed off. We will see you at the next tournament for more exciting Derby. 5x5 is the next coverage coming from Liverpool. We'll see 8 teams taking the track in Liverpool. And we'll catch you all then. Good morning, good night, good afternoon, and good lunchtime, depending on when you're watching this archive. We'll see you then.
Hey, this is FTP from Down Under Derby TV. We'd just like to say thank you very much for watching. We're about to close this feed. However, you can tune into our Royal Rumble coverage this afternoon, which will be featuring their finals coming up shortly. Thank you very much to our sponsors once again. Better Bearings, you guys rock. Good quality, good value, awesome bearings. Tavish Designs for all your graphic designs needs. Excellence in graphic designs. Go to tavish.com. And most importantly, Spank Alley. Get your Spank Alley armbands now. Alrighty, guys. Thank you very much once again. This is FTP over and out.